Greetings. For some reason, the recording just decided to stop. So, anyway, back to Anton Bruckner. All encompassing vision. He was an organist, an improviser, so that should tell you he has creativity. Seen as something as a simpleton and a country bumpkin, and yet could hold a conversation with the doctor about the latest medical techniques, so anything but. Never judge a book by a cover. He was very childlike, he had a counting neurosis. Interesting with UAP doing that one on the number of bricks in buildings and how it doesn't add up. Um, but I think that's all to do with the way Bruckner's mind was wired and to be able to write these symphonies. Um, it's a strength, not a weakness. Today, he'd be probably classed as severely autistic in today's world of judgment. But and he didn't get recognition in his own life till he was about 60. But he just carried on. Same with in his day to day life, fixated with the idea of a 17-year-old sort of virgin bride. Um, and rejection after rejection to marriage proposals, more so as he got older, I should think. And he just carried on. He didn't let it phase him. Same with the symphonies. Didn't get the recognition until Symphony Number Seven. By this time, he's in his early or mid 60s, and he's only 72 or 71 when he died anyway. So very late in life. And so two and the double zero and the zero, and then the nine symphonies, and then add to that the advice of friends, because he was writing way in advance of his time. People didn't understand his music at that time. It was writing music for the future, as it were. Now, the across all these symphonies, now there's 23 with all the variations. So you've got 11, 23. Well, there's your golden spiral. One and one makes two. Two and one makes three. Two and three makes five. It's the start of the golden spiral. These symphonies, basically in sound, tell you his life. They also tell you from the cradle to the grave and beyond. It is also the journey of the soul in sound. And I was listening to the conductor Sergio Celibadaca, who does some wonderful. He never did recordings. He only ever did live performances, and which were recorded. He wouldn't do any of this nonsense. As he said, rehearsals are a series of no's. No, you're not loud enough. No, there's too much brass, or whatever it happens to be. And even he says the music transcends and goes. It's like talking directly to, should we say, source. I don't like to use the word God, but up to you. So yeah, there's a lot in that music. It as much harks back to medieval. You got to bear in mind he writes as an organist, so there are pauses in the symphonies and abrupt stops. But as Bruckner said, when I have something important to say, I must take breath first. Um, I find him a fascinating character. How you've got the man who was very set in his ways, and then the artist, the creator, who was way ahead of his time. But that's just a personal opinion, as I've said on all this. So interesting as well. Where was he born? I happen to see that. Where are we? I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to scroll down. I've got the Fountain of All Knowledge here, Wikipedia. Um, Assuming that this is right, I mean, he was born in Ansfelden and fell down, and fell N means Lord. Coincidence? I don't believe in coincide dances. Um, so yeah, another very interesting thing. Do have a look at it. The monastery of Saint Florian, where he was the church organist. He was also a professor of music at Vienna Conservatoire. Now, interesting word that conservatoire is French for three. It's a conserve of three, and we're talking in sound here with the music. There's always duality to these things, always worth looking for. I, I, I do get Bruckner. I he talks to me in the music, probably more than any other composer. Wagner, in a completely different way, which is full of ego. I mean, a music critic wouldn't have bothered Wagner; he'd just swatted him out the way with his ego, and he looked like a flamboyant composer of the 19th century. This new German school with the velvet waist jackets and things. I put this on because I've still got the shirt. There's more than one, but I've still got the prison shirt on, and because it's icy out there, it really is dreadful. But what a wonderful day! I wished for and asked for blue skies and sunshine, and it was beautiful. I went out in the garden earlier, and absolute peace. I've had a fantastic day. So yes, winter solstice, winter sol tis us, or Mary chrism us. That is what it really means, not the twisted thing, because you're not celebrating, and should you be celebrating anyway? Um, because why should you treat one day any better than another one? There's another 364 to choose from. Why do you have to consent and go with the masses when most of them have got no clue what the tree is about? They have no clue what this is really about, and if you did know, then you wouldn't be giving presents anyway. You'd realise that you have 13 Mary Christmases every year. When they're talking about the sun dying on a cross, well, it does. It goes as low in the sky as it's going to get and appears to die for 3 days before it starts to rise again, and it dies on the Southern Cross, which is on the Australian flag. Oz, Australia, Wizard of Oz. And what is this New Zealand? Is it a New Zeal? Lord of the Rings, you think that's just a story? That's based on a historical truth. There's so much encoded. You see, look, we've got the Lord of the Rings, and then but Tolkien, which is a token. But before that, you have Wagner and his Ring of the Nibelungs, which is a fusion of all German mythology. But what is mythology? My theology, I would suggest. But it's been turned into something fictitious because they don't want you to go with that narrative, although it is so prevalent in every culture about giants, about giant trees, and it is a consistent story, and there definitely seems to be something in that. But I'm not going to worry about it. It would be lovely to know, but far more pressing things happening, and it is all going to be wonderful. You just got to do the inner work and project out that and radiate out that love, and don't get drawn into this looshing of your energy and picking sides and getting into drama and arguments. I mean, there's a whole world of that out there. You can go into politics or religions if you want to do that. This is a truth-seeking movement. This is a spiritual path, and we may not agree on every minute detail, but remember, the devil is in the detail anyway. You just need to see the overall picture. Be like Truman and be a true man and see the bigger screen, and the world that you're presented is an illusion. It is not enlightened. Anyway, what have we got up to? 8:44. What is it with these 44s with me? It's wonderful actually, because it's infinite, and same as the imagination, and that's where you want to hold on to, because your imagination is your creativity. That is your inner child. The grey areas with things. Well, think about the grey areas. What is grey? The grey matter. Something else as well. You've got that. What is it? The dewdrop in the back of your throat. It's like the clapper on a bell, and you've got a roof to your mouth as well. Don't forget. And it's all about creation of sound. And like I said before, doing these videos is creating a sound vibration that you're decoding as words. And as long as we're speaking with the right intent, everything really does start to unlock. Something else interesting, and I don't know how many else of you have seen it. I actually witnessed a reset today, a clone reset, where the person involved just suddenly froze, stopped talking, which was bliss. And just like, I don't know if you've seen that Bill Clinton one where it's just blank, expressionless, like there's not even a brain behind there. Well, I actually witnessed this today, and then a reset, and then I just jokingly said, well, you've been upgraded or something, and I just got an answer of, I was going to, that just stopped, and then it was like confusion, and then turning and walking the other way again, and it's very bizarre. So watch for that, because you probably will see this, and it's a great way of telling a clone from a real person as well from that. But I'm sure that most of you, if you trust your gut feeling, if something doesn't feel right, if somebody doesn't feel right to you, then that's your inner voice is telling you, and that's the end of the day. What do you go with? Don't go with don't make anything out of the numbers. I'm just picking numbers at random. Say someone with 20,000 subscribers. Don't think, oh, they've got a huge following. I daren't say that about them. Be true to yourself. Not saying that call them out as being a controlled opposition, a trill or a trill, a shrill or a troll. Bear in mind that this whole system works on fear, and I have to agree with Matt of Quantum of Conscious. They're not all in on it. There is a hold over a lot of them. Whether we can actually salvage them and get them back out, or whether they have deliberately gone for fame and fortune, or they've done it with the best intentions and just been sucked into that horrible system. Their energy will reveal that anyway. It gets to a point where you can talk to people online and you'll just feel them. You haven't even got to see what they look like, because this is outside the five senses. This is far more, and you all have this potential in you anyway. It's just doing the inner work to unlock it, and just don't give in to the fear. Nothing bad will happen to you if you don't give in to the fear. If you have doubts and fear, that's the inroad that the dark side needs, and then they will make you start doubting yourself and question yourself further, and they will do everything to try and steer you off the path. That's the thing to keep in mind with all this. Anyway, I wish you all the very best. I wish you all peace and love. And I'm going to go before, just in case this one cuts out. So that's 2 videos I'm now going to upload. So have a wonderful time. And I'm not going to say, and a happy new year, because again, that has been changed. That is not the start of the year. It's actually April Fool's Day. How far are we going to fall? I think we've been fooled enough. I get the sick jokes that they play. 2 for 1. Farmer suit, I see all. Evangelical, I see evil angel. It's all there in plain sight. It's like 9/11. It is plain sight, even if it's CGI. This start of this 2020, which is April, that's when things really start picking up. And get yourself some non-genetically modified popcorn, get yourself a nice drink, sit back and enjoy the ride, because it's a carousel, and C-A-R-O cell, carousel, get it? It's like the amusement parks. Well, for whose amusement, really? What are they really for? Unless you want to go and do like they used to do and go to the infantoriums, and for 10 cents you can see premature babies. And where did they all come from anyway? But that's just not pointing out the dark side so much, but pointing out these are the things you've got to look for, but then you've got to come out and ask the right questions about all these things. Just acknowledge that it's happened, and what can we learn from it? How can we ensure, because we want to be sure-footed, landed, although we are a vessel. We want to be on land, and we want to be certain and sure, not misled or going without our own internal compass, and staying true to ourselves. Thank you very much.